to, yes, yet another edition of Survive to Thrive. Hey, I love doing this. I love bringing daily tips and tricks to your day. If you're listening to this, we appreciate you. I appreciate you in the aspects of you are one of a very few that are probably stepping up, looking at this and saying, hey, I like this because it instills in me some sort of motivation, but not a motivation from a rah-rah standpoint, like a motivation from something like, I can use that. Like, this is applicable to my life and I can move forward. And I strive to keep it relevant for you in the aspects of we can lose relevancy, can't we? And it's easy to do. Now, somebody say that like I should be talking about more health-oriented types of things, and I'll incorporate that every once in a while. But here's the concept. Here's the concept for you is that your health is multifaceted. It is so connected to so many things. And I've often said this, if somebody is in bankruptcy or somebody is in a divorce, they don't feel healthy. In fact, there's a cascade of hormones and issues that can go on. The body's literally breaking down. So when we look at health is multifaceted. So the tips and tricks that are brought to you on a daily basis are going to be health related in the aspects of improving your life. When life, in the multifacets that it is doing well or improving, that it feels healthier. And you can't always excel in all areas all the time. For instance, if I was really, really, really good at pouring into my relationships with my queen, as I call her, my wife, and my kids all the time, well, then my business would fail. I mean, I can't spend 100% of the time with my family. I just can't, because then I wouldn't have a business. I'd have like a thriving family life for a while till I couldn't afford to do anything. But you see the balance that's constantly there. And this balance has to be there. We have to work on certain things at certain times. And today we're going to talk about, and this is where all of this stuff comes from, are my revelations on a daily basis. When I look at my days, there are things that pop up either the day before or that morning as I'm meditating or going through prayer or just listening. I'll come across something. And we had a scenario yesterday, and I look at this, and this involves our staff, and we were looking at this new software that we're doing, and this software just is hard. There's a lot to it and a lot going on, and we're missing a ton of stuff. And all of a sudden becomes like this big thing out in the clouds that we don't know how to conquer. And we start creating stories around this. Or in other words, we start creating excuses. I'm not picking on our staff. They take on a lot. They do more than any other staff. Like literally what we do in our office is absolutely phenomenal. But to make a shift and have to put this new software in and all this stuff comes with it, I don't need to go into the details. It's hard. And there's a lot of moving parts to keep track of. And the worry always is what if we miss something? What if something doesn't get done? And so we can create all of these issues. And all of a sudden, this is like the 2 o'clock in the morning, you wake up and you have everything colliding in your brain going, oh my gosh. But if you were literally to look at it and break it down, it doesn't get it's not that bad. And so immediately I had them do what we call a brain dump. And I learned this from a coach of ours. A brain dump, just get it all out on paper. Let's look at it. Let's look at the worst case scenario. And get it out on paper. And I said, look, here's our options. We can actually go back and do what we used to do. We can kill this system. It's going to take a little bit of time. It's going to cost a little bit of money, but that's an option. The other option is to press in and move forward and see what we can figure out. And so here's where I'm coming at you today. This is a concept of in your life, are you making excuses or are you finding results? Are you making excuses or are you getting results? Are you making excuses or are you finding a way to actually get it done? Because you are doing something on a daily basis that is serving one of two purposes. See, daily we create stories. Things happen, things evolve, and we create stories. And we can create stories that actually empower us and put us on a direction, or they actually go towards the path of destruction. Yes, there's no way. It's like health. Health isn't just going a direction. It is going the direction of moving and gaining health, or you're going the direction of losing health and heading towards destruction. I know that seems blunt, But again, think about it from a health standpoint. What could you do today that would just help you stay where you're at? Nothing. There's absolutely nothing that does that. Health is dynamic. It moves. You open your mouth and you're putting food in that doesn't just help you maintain. It's adding to your life. It's actually bringing you nutrients, or it's not. It's detracting with chemicals and additives and non-nutrients that your body's like, holy shit, what are you doing to me? You see, health is one of these things, and so are the stories that we actually create on a daily basis. Stuff is going to happen. You're going to actually wake up and things will happen in your life. And you get to create stories. And oftentimes we create our stories based on what? What we know to be true. It's based on a framework of what we know to be true. Our life experiences, our worldview, our self-view, all these things come in and collide when we actually have an experience. And see, what I would challenge you today, and this is the tip and the trick, is that based on your life experiences, you're creating stories around situations that are either serving you and your purpose, or they're actually destroying you. I'll give you an example. You woke up this morning and decided to do one of two things: exercise or not. You moved or not. Some of you were like, well, I'm going to do it later today. That's fine. All right, that's the concept. But today you are moving in the realm of actually exercise and creating something healthy for your body, or you're not. And with your not, you are creating a story around that as to why you cannot do it. You are creating a destructive story, like backing up what you're not doing, or backing up what you are doing. And it sounds a lot like this oftentimes. Did you exercise? No, well, I had this go on, and I couldn't get this done, and gosh, I ran out of time, and this came up, and I had to do this, and so we create this story, right? And oftentimes those stories are a big fat lie. If I learn nothing else in this life thus far, is everybody lies. Even myself. I teach my kids this. You lie. I've taught this quite often in this forum, in this podcast. Talked about Kellen and the bagel. Like he lied about breakfast. Like, how bad is it you gotta lie about breakfast? Hey, I had a bagel. But you didn't. And we lie. Why? Because we create a story, and then around that lie, we compound it. And you see, you either compound it with really good, meaning that you tell your story is that I got up this morning. Yep, I got some workout in. Why did you get that workout in? Well, because I want to feel better. I want to look better. I want to actually be healthier. I'm training towards this goal. And so we create this story, right? And then we also lie about that, right? Well, I'm going to do a triathlon. Really? When's your triathlon scheduled? Well, it's not scheduled yet. So we lie. You had no intention of doing a triathlon, but it sounds good. Have we done this? Yes. I'm raising my hand on video. I've done this. And knowing that I don't have anything scheduled, I would like to do that, but I'm not doing it presently, okay? And so I back up my frame and I tell it differently. You also create stories of destruction. Well, I didn't exercise today because and you have a story, and fill in the blanks. So right now you have to look at your life from a reality perspective. Step one, tell the truth. Step two, look at the stories that you're telling, the framework that you're putting yourself in, like literally framing yourself. Here's a frame. I put my picture of myself in this frame. What does that look like? What are the stories that I'm telling? And this goes across the board. So take it in your body. What are you eating and how are you moving on a daily basis? You're going to tell a story as to why. Okay, I'm on the road all the time. I'm a salesperson. And salespeople don't eat well. They just don't, right? Because it's what I've been told. Versus the sales guy that's got like a Yeti cooler in the back. One of those plug-in refrigerators that you could easily buy. And brings all his own food. He preps for the week. Gets all that stuff. See, the stories go with whatever direction you want. And then here's the worst part. You surround yourself with people that support your story. Yep. You surround yourself with people that support your story. You're married to them. They're close to you. They're buddies. You go out and say, hey, this is what happened to me. And people are like, yeah, no, I get you. That's exercise. Yeah, me too. I have a hard time. I mean, look how hard I work. I work. That's exercise, isn't it? We don't need to exercise. Yeah, let's go have some beer. and nachos, and we'll call it good. All right, you guys are getting the point. All right, so here's the tip and the trick today. Evaluate in your world, your life, where you're actually lying, telling a story that's sabotaging you, destroying you, and kill it. And you frame it with another story. You frame it with a different story. Tell a different story. Well, that would be lying. Well, you're lying one way or another. So why don't you lie in a good way? And then work on your lying, but tell a new story. Okay? Today, I'm going to exercise because, boom, and your body. And all of a sudden, you compound in a very positive way. You compound in a direction that really makes a difference in your life. Same thing in a relationship. Oh, well, she's this. I mean, every time she just nags and I get home and it's like, oh, you got to do this, got to do that. Tell a different story. Oh my God, I have the most wonderful wife. She reminds me to get this stuff done because I have such a busy day. I get home and she reminds me, and look at all the wonderful things she does for our family. She cooks and cleans and manages the household and keeps our kids going in a great direction. She runs, in my case, she runs an amazing business. She's doing all these things. If she asks me to do one thing, I'm framing it around the aspect of like, shit, yeah, I'll do that. What else do you need? Because that's a healthy story versus she's constantly nagging me. She doesn't know how hard I work. And we go into this framework of telling a story of destruction. You've done it. We've all done it in relationships. We do it in our connections with God. We tell a story that we're being punished by God because it's a story that we believe to be true based on the religion that we grew up with or without. We believe in God, don't believe in God. You have a relationship with your spiritual being. And if you haven't checked yet, we are spiritual beings having an earthly experience. It's been proved in science. Doesn't really matter that it has to be proven. You have to believe in something. There's something greater than yourself to have a purpose. But you're destroying your purpose with stories, or you're empowering your purpose with stories. And you have one of two ways to go. Same thing. Same thing with your workplace. You're telling a story right now that actually your work is not healthy. You don't get paid enough. You don't get valued for what you do. And you can find an avenue. You can find people that will support you. Or you turn the corner and say, look, I'm going to actually add more value for what I get paid in my office. This is what I'm going to bring to the table. If I get recognized, cool. If I don't, that's cool too. Because for every dollar I make, I'm going to maximize the value that I bring. I'm going to do as much as I can. Similar to what we do in our office. How much does it cost? We can answer that real quickly. But I'm going to tell you how much value you're going to get in it. Because first, we're going to talk about the fact that, like your new visit with me, you get boom, 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 all these things. And I can do it real quick. I teach our staff to do it real quick over the phone. Okay, for X amount of dollars, this is what you're going to get. You're going to get a consultation with the doctor. We're going to cover your life, what's going right, what's going wrong. We're going to actually do a neurological and orthopedic evaluation. If the doctor decides, we're going to take digital x-ray. And then you're going to get state-of-the-art analysis of that x-ray compared to normal like you've never seen anywhere else. When do you want to come in? Two ways that we can frame that. So the tip and the trick today is look at where you've been framing for excuses and change that towards framing for results. And you go after it. Framing for results sounds like, man, we didn't get there, but I'm going to figure out a way. I'm going to change this a little bit more. I'm going to tweak this a little bit more. We are going this direction, and I will find a way to get to this direction. I will find a way to make this thing happen. I'm going to tell a different story. Well, okay, that didn't work. Create a story around it. It didn't work because why? Well, we had XYZ out of place. Boom, I'm going to go again. You're trying to rebuild a relationship. You're trying to rebuild a body. You're trying to rebuild a relationship at work. You're trying to rebuild your spirituality. It is a compounding. It is a compounding exercise. A compounding of stories that you can get to create. And you go whichever direction you want. One that compounds in a positive, moving you towards a healthy environment, or compounding towards a destructive path. You choose. Totally up to you. That's the beauty of it. But today, compounding direction, well, if you're not compounding positive, you're compounding the negative towards destruction automatically. It does not compound in the middle. It's going a direction with or without you. Food for thought, tips and tricks to move you out of survival today. I'm passionate about this. I see this more and more. We make excuses versus telling the truth. Up to you what you want to do.